Hey guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Belle, and what you are watching is my life journal. These are just videos where I talk about things that I love to write about, and therefore I want to make a video about them. And yes, my apartment is a mess right now. I'm a 20-year-old living in an apartment with 3 other girls, so it's bound to happen. But yeah, so my first goal of today's video is actually making my videos smaller because I talk a lot and I tend to make videos long. I've noticed a pattern, but whatever. Today I actually wanted to talk about this book, and this is my Bible, and this is the best book ever, and it took me so many years to realize that this is the best book in the world. So I am 20 years old, and throughout my entire life, something that I've always struggled with is reading the Bible. If you're a Christian, there is a chance that you're part of the most of us that struggle reading the Bible, and you don't really know why, but it's always a struggle. I'm even a reader, and it was a struggle for me to read the Bible for the longest time. I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up with full access to the Bible and a bunch of languages, a bunch of translations. Something that did not lack in my household was the Bible. But here I found myself 20 years old, never having read the Bible from cover to cover. And I know people who've read the Bible like 24 times already, and they're like 20 or like 16. I'm like, this has just always been my struggle. A lot of people struggle actually getting into it and understanding, why do you even need to read the Bible? If God is still speaking and He's a God that is still speaking audibly to us, then why do we even need to read the Bible? So these are just a few tips and tricks from my personal experience that I've been learning very recently about the importance of the Bible and how I fell in love with this book to help you overcome if you find yourself with lack of motivation to read the Bible or not understanding why you need to read it. So tip number 1 is get yourself a Bible that you love. You know, a bunch of people are going to tell you that New King James are better and King James is better, and there's New Living Translation, there's the Message Translation, ESV and NIV, and a million different translations. But at the end of the day, the translation that is right for you is the translation that you love to read. So for me, I found that ESV is my love. It speaks a language that is easy for me to understand, but it's not like the Message where it's almost just like chunks. It's not verse by verse. The Message, it literally is just kind of going to explain the verse to you. No, this is like phrase by phrase translation, but it's also very smooth. At least that's how I like to describe it. It's not like a difficult read for some people like the King James Version or the New King James Version. The ESV is an easy read, and it's personally my favorite translation. Along with getting a Bible you love, you know, pick one that you like how it feels, you like how it looks, you're gonna want to take care of this. It's not something that you're gonna just want to leave lying around. You know, invest some money in it. That's important to me. And if not, then download it on your phone, you know. But for me, I am a writer, so I needed a Bible that had like room for me to write. So it's like the Bible, and then there's like lines here where I just get to write and jot down my thoughts. And for me, that's something that was important because I like this type of Bible. Now, if that's not you, then that's fine. I got this Bible when I turned 18. It was what I asked for my birthday. I wanted my adult Bible. I made the decision. I went and I picked it out. But if journaling is not important to you, then, you know, look around and find yourself a Bible that you love. Tip number 2 is schedule time to be with God. You know, when you're in a relationship, you guys set dates, you guys set, you know, specific times that you know you're gonna spend with each other, and no one likes to be stood up, so when that person doesn't follow through with that time, we feel it. No one likes that feeling of like, oh, they had to cancel. And you're in a relationship with God, and in order for you to get to know Him, you need to schedule time to be with Him. And for me, I found that that time needs to be in the morning before I start doing anything else in my day. I know people that this is in the afternoon. I know people that do it at night before they go to bed. Me personally, I need it to be in the morning. I feel like if I don't have my time with God in the morning, kind of my day just gets thrown off a little bit. And I'm not as prepared. I feel like I don't have my armor on fully. I realize that as much as it sucks to wake up early, when I do wake up early, I've had the sweetest times of just sitting with God and reading and really letting His Word fill me. One of my teachers told me this past week that throughout life, you know, we understand routine. Throughout life, we accept that we need to sacrifice certain things for other things. We accept that we need to wake up mad early to go to work. We accept that we need to fall into certain routines. but it's like we don't accept that we need to actually set time apart for God. We kind of just try to fit him into our schedules instead of saying, no, what, God, this is my time with you, and no one can take that away. And so that's my tip number 2, is set time apart for God. And it just goes with being super intentional. The thing I said about getting stood up, this is something that God has really hit me with this past week. I decided, okay, I'm gonna get into this routine of I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to read my Bible. And then one day my alarm clock rang in the morning, and I reached over and I was like, no, I don't wanna wake up, I don't wanna wake up. And I felt God saying within me, like, why aren't you spending time with me? And all of a sudden I'm like, shoot, when I sacrifice my time with God, it's like I'm standing him up. It's like he's sitting there waiting for me, waiting to meet me, waiting to speak to me. And I'm saying, nah, I have something more important to do, sleep. Yeah, that really convicted me, and I'm working on that a lot, because once I understood that, like, I don't like being stood up. So why would I do that to God, you know, who's so eagerly sitting there waiting to meet us when we go into our secret place with him. So my tip number 3 is understand that every time you go to read the Bible, you're not going to have these crazy holy presence moments where you're just weeping and just crying in the presence of God and you hear the audible voice. No, most of the time it's not going to be like that. Not to pop your balloon or burst your bubble. But I've come to realize that reading the Bible is like taking a vitamin. When you take a vitamin, you don't see or feel the immediate reactions of that vitamin. Whether that vitamin is for health, whether it's to make your hair grow longer or whatever, you don't see the immediate reaction of that. You don't see the results of that immediately. And God's been ministering to me that reading the Bible is important, because my spirit is like taking a vitamin every single day. Every time I go and I spend time with him, I'm taking that vitamin. I'm nurturing my spirit. It's getting stronger. It's getting healthier. And you know, everything that we do is an outpour of our heart. It's an outpour of the health of our spirit. So it just goes to show like how important it is for you to be daily taking in this vitamin. And God has really surprised me with even reading the genealogies and the family trees. He's been speaking, and I've been finding that he speaks in the simplicity of the Bible. The Bible is not a tough book to read, but it's hard to push through, especially when this is something that the enemy does not want you to read, and he will do anything to get you to not read it. So my tip number 4, I think we're on now, 3, 4, I don't know, is press on. Don't give up. It's almost like I feel like there's this invisible barrier that you just need to break through. And the only way to do this is to be consistent and to just keep reading, keep doing it, because you want to get to know your Creator. Really make it intentional that you're reading the Bible because you want to know who God is. You want to get closer to him. You want to further the relationship, and be consistent in it. It's funny because he kind of used something that I do to speak to me. I find words extremely important. I love writing, and when I write someone something, I wait for them to read it and to see their reaction. I hope that what I wrote connects with them in some way. And I realized that the Bible is God's letter to me. It's his love letter to me. In here is the answers to my questions. In here is the guidance I need. In here is literally a love letter to me from my Savior. And having that mentality and understanding the weight of words and how much I value words, therefore I need to understand that these words are valuable and they are life-giving. It really created in me the desire to want to read the Bible, the desire to be like, you know what, I'm going to do this. Why? Because there's a love letter sitting here in front of me, and I want to know it frontwards and backwards, and I want to be drenched in this because these are life-giving words. And you know, I hope that you really become intentional with getting to know God. And I promise you, take my word for it, whatever that is worth, but I promise you that if you do this with intentionality, if you go before God wanting to meet him and you read the Bible wanting to get to know him, I promise that he will draw near to you. He's waiting for you and he wants to get to know you. So be intentional about spending time with him and reading the love letter that he left you, reading, you know, the stories that he left for you to read. So yeah, those are my tips and my tricks. Not really tricks, there aren't really any tricks at all. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Yeah, if you have not subscribed, you can do that down below or up or wherever the button is that you are watching this on. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, then don't. it's whatever. Yeah, thank you so much. Deuce.